Firefighters take an oath to serve and protect their community, their family members, their friends, even strangers. And that's exactly what they did on August 8th. And they were prepared to fight, even until their death. So, start from the beginning that day.
So that day we got dispatched to help out with the already started fire in Lahaina. And we got into Lahaina. We were coming down the highway, and we made a right up Lahaina Luna with some pretty heavy smoke in the area. People evacuating. You know, I believe it's pretty gridlocked on the way down Lahaina Luna. So we went up. We took a right at the bottom of Lahaina Luna, and we met up. There was another engine company that was fighting a fire at the corner of Pauoa and kind of like Lahaina Luna. I guess our thought process was to go a little higher in the neighborhood and try and prevent it from continuing on through the neighborhood. We made our way up a little farther up the block in that neighborhood, and we realized that there was a lot of structures involved. People were still trying to evacuate. It was just too heavy a situation in there. So we decided to push back. We ended up falling back. Actually, right next to the other engine company, right across the street, that house started to be involved within that short span of time. So we decided to kind of pull our attack lines and try and stop it from there. So that's like right at the beginning of where everything started to happen.
Right. What was going through your mind?
You know, at the time, we were just involved. We were trying to prevent it from going any farther down Lahaina Luna, you know, even though we were pretty much at the bottom. At that time, we were just concentrating on to get the job done, you know, to try and get people out of there, try and stop those house fires at the bottom of Lahaina Luna. And it was, you know, we weren't even in there that long. I don't know what the time frame was. But by that time, you know, there was heavy smoke, heavy heat pushing down. When the wind would push down, you know, it would turn black like midnight. You couldn't see anything. So we were at that house, I don't know how long, right next to another engine company. And then we got the call to evacuate. You know, our section was to evacuate. And from there, we went out and we tried to exit down Lahaina Luna. And it was still gridlocked. You know, there's still people in their cars. And then we, wait, sorry. Okay. So people, you know, gridlocked still in their cars. We got reports that the top of the neighborhood was open. So we turned around. The other engine company tried to turn around, and by that time we started to try and make an exit back into the black smoke to the top of the neighborhood. Another engine company was coming down. I got out of the truck, made a face-to-face with their driver, and you know, we're talking, and he was saying that we need to evac. I told him it was blocked on Lahaina Luna. He said it was blocked at the top, which was where we were supposed to go. Then from there, we kind of reversed. We positioned our apparatus with the other original company that was there. And I can't remember if the captains did a face-to-face, or I can't remember what that communication was like, but the decision was to shelter in place because both of our egresses they were blocked. And from there, we just kind of prepared ourselves, you know, to kind of deal with just deal with what we have to deal with, you know. We set up our hose lines, positioned our apparatus in a way to kind of help give us shelter. And so from there, we were just preparing ourselves, you know, trying to conserve our air, trying to stay cool where we can. You know, it got to a point in the truck that it was just too hot in the truck. So a lot of us, at least our company, because we were with another company, we exited the truck. I think Capt saw, his windshield was bubbling. The side, I saw some, some little smoke streams coming from my steering wheel. So at that point, it was just too hot in our cab. We exited downwind, kind of sheltered in place downwind. I think the other engine company was on their side, and all of us, we just stayed there, trying to seek shelter. And when the wind would lay down, it was just so hot. The ground was hot, even to the touch through your gloves, through your protective gear. It was just burning. So we just kind of sat there, pretty much trying to wait it out. We tried conserving the water that we could until we really needed it, and we were just there. I believe one of our other firefighters, he noticed another firefighter who seemed a little disoriented. He got up, this other firefighter, and kind of wandered into the heavy atmosphere that was there, out in the open without his pack on. And one of the guys we were with, he went over and helped him back, try and get shelter from the heat and the smoke. And then, can't remember how long after that, I remember hearing police chirp, like a police car chirp. And we heard it for, seemed like about 5 minutes. Here and there. It would come, it would go. And then all of a sudden, out of the smoke, a police SUV rolled up. And one of our firefighter on the other crew that we were with, he opened the door and he's like, "Get in." And we all got up. We all went over. We couldn't open the doors. So, we're all trying to break the police SUV windows. We can't break the window. It's a police SUV, And so we finally got the doors open. One of the other crew members from the other company collapsed. So a bunch of us, can't remember who, we all carried him over to the passenger side door. We got him up on one of our crew members. 2 guys jumped in the front seat. 2 guys from the other company climbed over the back seat into the back. I jumped into the back with the other guy on our crew, and we thought we had our guy all the way in. He was already unconscious, and we tried getting him in. We couldn't get him in, and I think we got him high enough to where the door was like right about it, where the door closes, right about his shin level. So maybe his boots were still out, and it was just a struggle to try and get him in. We're all just trying to pull him up. We couldn't get him up, so it's kind of we all made a decision that we just got to get out of here, and so we just held him, and we just sped off down Lahaina Luna, in some pretty heavy smoke, finding our way. He did a good job getting us out of there. There were some times, where we started kind of losing the guy who we were holding, but, we made sure we held on. None of his body parts were touching the ground anytime we were moving, Then we got out to, I think, the Aquatic Center intersection. And then from there, we just all bailed out, and we all started getting to work on Capt. We got him to the ground, tried cooling him off, and then we got pulses, and so we ended up just doing rescue breathing, tried pouring water on him. There was a bunch of bystanders that came off, offering water. There was an off-duty firefighter as well that was there, that was helping us. I think one of the PD units, I can't remember who he was, but he was there helping us, just make sure we monitored, we kept Capt's pulses, and from there, medics came on scene and we loaded him in. Yeah.
Cap, Can you kind of describe it in your words, your experience, like from the beginning that day?
Yeah, so at the station, we heard the chatter on the radio about a fire. With all the chatter coming in, I told the guys, we're probably going to get dispatched. And maybe a couple of minutes after that, we got dispatched, us along with another engine company. So we headed out that way, turned down one of the main roads, turned onto Lahaina and turned up to Pauoa Road, where we saw the other company that we were asked to aid, help him. So for us, the main thing is, protect life. So our main thing is to stop the fire, and that would stop. If we stop the fire, then everybody okay. So that's the main thing we're trying to do, is stop the fire, and then everybody be safe. So that's our main goal, is to stop the fire. So we turned the road, went further down the road. It was kind of obvious that it was too hot already, and the winds are too strong. So we were going to try and exit, but by that time, the roads were all blocked up with all the people trying to leave the neighborhood. Like Kawika said, we got reports of the top of the road being blocked off, so we were stuck in there. So when we decided to shelter in place on that road, we did pull a line, try to protect ourselves with the water. The hose failed. It was too hot. The hose burned. So we had to shut that off, and we had to shelter in the truck. And so I remember went to the side of the truck. I grabbed a bunch of spare bottles, threw it in the cab, because I knew the most important thing was our air. So we got in a truck, tried to stay calm and try to control our breathing, and we're breathing on the bottles. But like Kawika said, it was so hot in there. The heat just saps your energy. We were just so fatigued. I remember I was trying to even change my bottle, and I couldn't even do that. I couldn't even change my own bottle. I was so fatigued. And yes, I remember looking at the windshield, and the windshield of the truck was failing. And so I was pretty sure that if we stayed there, we weren't going to make it. So actually, they probably didn't even know, but I actually texted my family on my phone, saying my goodbyes. But my phone was too hot already, so it didn't go through. The message, luckily, it didn't go through. But then we decided after a while that it was too hot in the truck, so we had to get out. So we got out of the truck and sheltered behind the truck, which kind of blocked us from the heat. It was a little better outside, being sheltered behind the truck. And like you said, another firefighter, another captain, he was trying to help the other residents, and he became a little altered mental status, so he was walking around, and he actually ended up kneeling on the ground. And while he was kneeling, because we said that the heat, it was so hot, the asphalt was so hot, because he was kneeling on the ground, his knees burned. That's what burned his knees so bad, from kneeling on the ground. So it was never, I know before we heard reports saying that it was drugged, but we never drugged his legs on the ground. It was burnt. And so, yeah, so pretty much like what it said, what Kawika said. Luckily, the other firefighter got out, commandeered a police vehicle, drove back in, and we all got into that vehicle, and he got us out of there.
I know you kind of explained your thought process, but can you, when you say shelter in place, that means you're being surrounded, right? Like there's nothing really you can do.
That's a last resort. That's a last resort.
Yeah. What do you think about it all now?
I'm just happy to be alive. Circumstances would have been really bad if the firefighter hadn't come back. There is a good high possibility that a couple of lives would have been lost. Definitely.
What was that moment like when he showed up with the police cruiser?
Oh, just elated, you know, just so happy. And I mean, second chance. Yeah, we all got a second chance.
Kawika, I want to hear your words too. Like, describe your feelings and thoughts when that firefighter one showed up in that police car.
Just get the hell out of here. You know, it's like, let's just go. Yeah, it was definitely, it was just, let's get out of here. And there was no, like, forethought of what was going to happen next. We're just get in this car. You know, this is our next safe zone, and this is our way out, you know.
And you guys didn't know he was coming, right? Like, when you're sheltering in place, I guess, what was going through your mind then?
You know, at the time, I felt somewhat confident that we would be okay with the, you know, we had some area above us, like a parking lot. We had our truck with water. You know, at the time, I felt confident that we were okay. You know, felt like I'm glad we weren't put in the situation to where we had to walk out or possibly carry people out. You know, that would have been a totally different story. It's just hard sometimes, you know, like we got out and like a lot of people didn't, you know, like friends, parents, and
Can we give him a minute, please?
sorry. No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. I'm good.
I wanted to, I mean, it's your hometown, yeah.
Yeah.
That, I mean, you guys are heroes. Going in and saving, you know, lives, the community, strangers. But I mean, it's, I think, a different layer for you, right? You're born and raised on that side. You're a Lahaina boy. Can you talk about, I guess, that level of?
Yeah. You know, it's definitely hard, you know, knowing, you know, people not only lost their homes, but, you know, family members. You know, we were in a very difficult situation where we almost lost our lives, but that doesn't compare to people that lost their lives, you know, people that are, you know, people that I knew or friends, family members, and, you know, who maybe didn't even know how fast this fire was coming, or they were trying to leave and they didn't, or they couldn't make it, whether they were consumed by the fire or they're just stuck in traffic and or whatever it is. It's definitely, I don't think it's really hit a lot of us, you know, even the community. I don't think it's really hit yet because everyone out there everyone's helping, you know. You got all these private bases that, you know, all the community members, you know, some of my old coaches and some of my friends and family that they have set up, and they're helping the community firsthand, you know. You got boats coming in from off island, bringing it into Kahana, and you got all these hubs that these guys are just out there helping. I don't think it's had time for them to set in yet, because normalcy hasn't set in yet. And I think, you know, once that kind of starts setting in, you know, it's going to be very hard for the community, you know. You know, like when the dust settles from all of this, like, just the people can't leave. That's going to be the hardest thing, you know. Like, we don't want to get priced out of paradise, you know. Generational homes, families there for generations. Like, they can't lose their homes, man. Like, they can't afford to pay a mortgage and a rental payment after all this assistance runs out. So there's gotta be a way where all these families can stay, because that's what makes Lahaina, that's what makes Hawaii Hawaii. It's not it's the people, Yeah, I've my brother. Luckily my parents' home was spared because it's above the bypass. But I have, my great grandparents' home, which I care for. Uncles, aunties, cousins, countless other, friends, families, coaches, and it's just devastation, and they can't leave, Hopefully there's some kind of assistance that will carry them through the long run, you know what I mean? And not just 6 months, because everyone has food, they all have shelter, whether it's staying with family members or at the hotels, but what happens after that,
As a firefighter, what do you want to tell the Lahaina community?
Just know that, we were there, we tried as much as we could with what we had. We were there all night. We didn't sleep. I know there are a lot of community members there, friends that were up there in the smoke, that they were doing the same thing, pulling people out. Just know that we were there all night. We're going to be there, and we'll always be there, to do what we can for our community, because it's not just me. There's other people from Lahaina that work for the department, work for the police, work for medics. It's going to take all of us together with the people of Lahaina to help rebuild and keep people there. So we're not going to leave. We're going to keep doing what we do, trying to help where we can.
Cap, going back to you, how long have you been doing this?
24 years.
24 years. I know it's been described, the fire's been described before, but in your words, in your experience, describe the fire.
It's nobody can say that they've experienced it. This is a one in a lifetime. I can describe it as a worst disaster in the century. It's something different for us here because we usually win. Whenever you go, there's every fires, we usually win. We usually put together and win. And this is one that we didn't win.
As captain of your crew, I guess you guys are all in it together. But I'm sure you talk to them all the time, but what do you hope they know as their captain? What do you want to tell them?
I'm responsible for them. I'm supposed to make the decisions, the right decisions. We were just lucky this time we got out. Yeah, we're like a family. So it was a close one. Yeah.
Same thing, what do you hope or you want to tell the Lahaina community?
We tried our best. Everybody tried their best to the point where people got hurt. Some people even died trying their best. We almost got hurt or died trying our best. I don't think there's anybody in the county that didn't try their best. But we all stick together and we'll pull through.
I don't really know where you folks were. I know you gave street names, and correct me if I'm wrong, but someone said that the goal was to try to save some of the kupuna at Kalimaholu. Is that where you folks were, or was that?
I don't remember that specific instructions, but we were just the first engine company that was on scene there directed us in their vicinity. So we just headed that way and we just went to work.
Is Halemaholua near where you guys were, or were you guys just
That's higher. That's
higher?
up.
Okay.
Yeah. So we weren't even.
Okay.
That wasn't part of what our assignment was.
I see. Okay. Is there anything else you wanna? I guess starting with you, Cap. Like anything else you wanna say that I didn't ask?
No, that's it.
You know, it's been difficult at times. You know, most times, just all of us, we internalize it, but I know it's affecting. You know, not only us first responders. I know it's affecting everyone in the community, and you know, people went through events and seen things that you know you shouldn't see. And it's going to take a long time to heal. It's going to take a long time to heal from the loss of life, the loss of the memories that, you know, my parents, all the community of Lahaina, all my relatives, friends, and family. Like, it's going to take a long time to kind of start that healing process, you know. But I know if there's one community, Lahaina is going to get through it, you know, and I will be there every step of the way to help, you know, in whatever capacity I can to make that happen.